Hi everybody. I am doing this as a live video right now, but I'm going to be loading it onto the YouTube channel and posting a link to it in the main group. Right now I'm just in the testers group. I am doing the Betsy Ross 13 star flag designs. I have merged both of the 4x4 files into my 5x7 hoop. I'm going to stitch them both out at the same time. One of them is a fill stitch for the lines and the star section in the blue corner, and the other is a sketch style with just the outlines for the flag lines and the stars in the corner. So I've already prepped my stabilizer with the placement stitch, and I'm going to, hi Leanne, I'm going to put down my embroidery vinyl. I am using the Milk Metallic from My Punk Embroidery. I just love this thing. It has so much character and it's just beautiful, I think. So anyway, I'm going to stitch it onto that. I have lots of scrap pieces of everything, so just going to let it stitch out. I have gone ahead and reordered the two designs to stitch simultaneously, so it's going to skip from one side to the next depending on the color stops. And I promise, Leanne, I'm going to keep my fingers out of the way this time. I will be clipping the jump stitches, though, as it goes along. Okay, so one of the things that I really like about my new PE 770's Big Brother, the PE 800, is that it does tell me which color stop it's on. It shows me a full color design on the screen, and I don't know, I just love it. So we are going to go to the next color, which is the red. All right, let me change my thread out. I am not going to pull from the top, remember that. I'd rather waste a little bit of thread like this, tiny bits of thread, than have to fix my machine. My son is coming out of his room, so he's probably going to make some noise at the moment. Hi, buddy.
Hi, Mom. Hi, viewers.
Cody said hi, viewers. I don't know who's on here besides Leanne, but yep. Right now, let's see. This one threads almost as well and as fast as the other one. I'm so used to the other machine that it just takes me seconds to thread the 770, but I've been using it for about 5 years. So this one pretty much threads the exact same way, but the 3 and 4 and 5 stops up here, there's a little bit of difference as it's threading at the top of the machine in this section up here. Okay, so I've got it rethreaded. I'm going to get rid of this little piece of white jump stitch, and I'm going to let it stitch its little heart out. So the reason that I'm putting this one directly on YouTube and not as a Facebook Live in the main group is because I don't want to start a debate. It is a political design. It does have some, I don't know, how do you say it? It does have some controversy surrounding it right now, but I don't find the Betsy Ross flag controversial at all. In fact, I find it one of the most patriotic things that someone in America has ever come up with. So I will be releasing the design onto the Etsy shop, and I will be mainly promoting it in the political embroidery group page and on mine. I probably won't be listing it in the general embroidery groups. There's enough fuel in that fire. I don't need to pour gasoline on it again. So I recently bought a pack of Isacord. You can see that thread. I had a few spools of it here and there before, but I never really had a whole set of it. And I bought a set of probably 25 off of, I think it's called Mass Drop or Drop or something like that. But anyway, I had to wait about a month for it, but this machine really likes it, as well as the 770s really liked it too. So I'm going to use it until I run out of it. It stitches nice. I don't know if it's polyester or rayon. I haven't dug that far into it, but I guess I'll figure that out sooner or later. I don't know who else is on here besides you, Leanne, so if anybody else is on here, say hi. Hey Jill, how are you? I think Nancy's on here too. Cool. This one on the left is the full stitch or the fill stitch on the lines of the flag lines itself. The other one is going to be the sketch design. I did make some adjustments on it. When I first sent the flag designs out, the sketch stitch or just the outline designs were single stitch instead of a triple beam, so I did make that adjustment and fix it. So I will be sending that back out to those that tested it to begin with. Yes, Nancy, it is my new machine. I absolutely love the screen on it. See it? I can really tell what's going on instead of just looking at the gray and black bob on the other screen. But tell Cody bye, he's leaving.
Bye viewers.
Bye viewers, he said. Aw, he said thanks for supporting his mom. See you later, buddy. He really likes this design as well. You know, Nancy, there's a couple of upgrades on this. You know, everybody talked about the color screen, and that's the most fantastic piece. But another great upgrade to it is the light right above the stitching area. The 770 did not have that. I have an aught light that is one of those that you clamp on the side of a desk or a table that I have always used no matter where I'm at, because my eyes see much better when there's bright light. So I put the aught light now is behind my camera to give it a little bit more backlighting, but I love that there's a light above the stitch area, and I love that screen. There is one drawback that I'm just going to have to get used to, and that is the lever to drop the presser foot. It's in a different position than the other machine. It's on the very back of the machine, and that's going to take a little bit of getting used to for me. So other than that, the machine is great. It seems to be a little bit taller. I don't know why or what difference that makes actually, but it seems to be a little bit taller than the other machine. Not by much. Less than an inch taller, I guess. Hey Jill, I'm doing great. How are you? Okay, that's stitching its triple beam now, so we're good to go on this design, I believe. I noticed on a couple of the test stitch outs for this outline or sketch design that the flag bars did not stitch the exact length or width, I guess. So this one will tell me if I fixed it correctly or not. If I did not, then I'll go back and correct it again. It's kind of funny watching. I'm recording this. Yes, Jill, it is. I'm recording this on my phone, and I have my laptop set up behind it, watching the video, and there is a slight delay. So it's not truly Facebook Live, I guess. It's Facebook Live delayed. Just a few seconds, not much though. Like right now on my screen, it just started stitching one of the long lines, the first long line of the flag bars. And on my actual machine, I'm already on the third one. So there's a slight delay, just a few seconds though. Okay, so now we're going to switch out again. I'm going to trim the little red pieces. And it's time for the blue thread to come up. One of the things that was suggested when the testing photos started coming back was on the one that is just the outline stitches. The stars, if you're stitching this on white vinyl, weren't going to show up, and the color stock for the stars was white. So she tested them in blue. I'm actually going to stitch them in a gray color or a silver color. The blue to me is just a little bit too dark, but the silver or gray color I think is going to give it enough contrast that you can actually see it without distracting from the overall design too much, I think. So right now this one is going to stitch pretty dense in the corner of the fill flag where the blue square is. I did get a couple of questions when I first sent this file back out about the placement and the way this flag hangs and that it looks backwards. And to the eye, it really does look backwards, but if you read flag code and you read protocol on hanging a flag, even though this isn't a real flag, it's an image of a flag, the square where the stars is should always be at the top left of your flag, no matter how you're displaying it. So since these are on keyfobs, this is your top. That's what would be hanging down from your keys and stuff. So you always want your stars up in the top left-hand corner. Okay, so this is going to stitch now the blue sections, which on this one side is going to be a filled blue square, and on the other side it's going to be a blue outline only. I'm going to pause this for 1 second and get rid of that long trailing blue thread just so it doesn't jump back in there and get in the way. See, Leanne, I did... Hey, Candy. Hi, Jill. I did pause that and move the needle bar up so as not to get my finger stuck in it. How is your finger, Leanne? So do you guys think that I should post this full video when it's done in the main group, or just link it to the YouTube and let people go to it if they want to see it? What's your opinion on that? Hi, Remy. My dog sees somebody walking around outside, so he's going to growl for a minute. So if you hear him growl or bark, just kind of ignore him. He's a good boy, but sometimes he's a loud boy. You know, the more I stitch with this isocord, the more I like it. They're such vibrant colors. Hey, Jimmy. They're really vibrant colors. And again, I don't know if it's poly or if it's rayon, but I like it. I'll have to look on the package. This one is neither. This is the one that I'm going to use. This is the one that I'm going to use for the stars on the sketch side on the right. It's one of the ones that I've had for a really long time that I got when I first got my machine several years ago. Yes, I still have thread. You just saw the call for the test outs, Candy? Okay, so now it's calling for color white, which is going to be the stars just on the fill stitch side. because if you remember, I'm going to stitch the stars in a different color on the outline side or the sketch side so that it doesn't blend too much into the white. And I hope this video isn't as boring as the first one I did the other day. Oh, now my husband's upstairs. Say hi, Luke.
Hi, Luke.
Uh-oh, he said hi to himself. Can you guys say hi to Luke? I did not tell him or my son that I was going to be doing a video tonight. It was kind of a last-minute thing, so that's, otherwise he probably would have stayed downstairs the whole time. Well, I put the call out for testers earlier today, and then I had to run out and do some errands with my husband. I went to meet Debbie, who is another friend of mine here, and she's also a tester in the group, who lives in my hometown. We are neighbors at the craft fair that we do in November. Anyway, that's how I got to know them, and she's become a friend. But she makes color me quilts and all kinds of fun things that I don't make. So I get stuff from her once in a while, and that's where I went to meet her today. And while we were out, we went to the grocery store and we got the fixings for tacos, and I came home and we made homemade tacos. I'm just holding the white tail of thread out of the way. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm not really doing much of anything but holding it out of the way. My hubby is a pretty good guy. Hi, Shelley. This August the 20th, so 1 month from yesterday, will be August the 14th. Please don't tell him I said that. Will be our 20th wedding anniversary. Okay, so this is going to stitch the outline of the flag itself, and then it's going to have me change over to the silver, and then it's going to stitch the stars on this side. I have a piece of red vinyl that I'm going to put as the backing instead of black. I'll also do one of these with a blue backing when I get done. I just like the Americana colors a lot, so I like using different colors for different things. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but I don't use the spool holder very much at all on these machines. I use a can in front of the machine, one of these, cleaned out, done, and I use this little vinyl colored clip as a thread guide. It's just easier to me, in my opinion. Some of the spools that I have don't fit the thread guide very well. I find that if I keep them vertical, they feed much better, and I don't have to worry about it getting hung up or twisted. It does give it a little bit of extra room. Okay, I'm just going to hold this out of the way loosely, not taut, but loosely, so it doesn't get caught up around the needle. All right, I'm going to pause for a second and just get rid of it. I do have a multi-needle machine, and it does cut jump threads, but that wasn't really a jump, it was a leading thread, so it wouldn't have cut it until I was done, I guess. But I'm also using red bobbin thread so that when I put my backing on, it matches. I'm hoping that nothing red comes through on the front, and so far it's doing fairly well. So if this design comes out as well as I hope that it will, then I'm going to be using it on one of the zipper bags soon. I do like the design. I will have other political type designs, although I'm not looking for a debate. I am looking for people to have an open and honest, frank, and respectful conversation. So, I just want to show you the detail. If you can see those little stars, I counted them. I counted them several times to make sure there were 13, because sometimes in Embrilliance, when you enlarge or shrink something, it takes away some of the stitch pattern on it. But I counted them, and there are 13. So this is the back. I'm showing an awful lot of front thread, but again, I have red bobbin thread, so I'm sure that's probably a lot of it. I'm just going to trim up some of these stray pieces that go back and forth, and then I'm going to put the red vinyl on the back, re-hoop it, and stitch these babies out. I like the way this one's coming out. I hope you guys do too. I don't know how you attach your vinyl on the back of things. I attach mine in two ways. I always put a pin that is out of the way of the design and the needle plates all together, in the corners if possible, just so that it doesn't interfere with anything. And then I generally tape it as well. So I'm going to put pins in the corners, in the two corners up here, and then the bottom one as well. Hi, Michelle. Okay, I've got this pinned, 2 pins here and 2 pins on the other side. I don't know if you can see them real well, but there and there. That's going to hold the bottom piece out of the way. I'm going to rethread the white thread before I do this. I'm going to rethread the white thread because that's going to be my full outline on the final bean stitch. And even though the design calls for that vermilion or a dark red or an orangey red color for the snap circles, I always just do that with the last color that I used right before it. I'm not changing out thread colors just for snap circles. They're hidden anyway. So Jimmy, now that your sports season is coming to a halt, what are you up to now? Or do you have another sport starting up? Since this is a new machine, my snap doesn't always happen when I first put my hoop back in. Sometimes I have to stand over it and give it a little bit of muscle, but it seems to be working good tonight. I'm going to pause that and get rid of this trailing thread. There we go. Hey Nancy, I use painter's tape sometimes. If it's on a piece that's I know is going to end up in the scrap pile, I will use Scotch tape, but it's the magic tape, so it's not really sticky and it doesn't leave a residue, but it's that invisible tape like you use on wrapping paper, I think. Hey Debbie. The green frog tape works very, very well, as just like the blue painter's tape does. The green frog tape, I think you have a little bit, it's less tacky. I don't know how else to say it. It's just less tacky than the blue tape as well. Alright, I'm going to pause and get rid of this trailing thread. Now I merged the two designs in Sew What Pro. I do use Embrilliance. I use it every single day, but I've used Sew What Pro for so long for editing and merging and adding names that it's just second nature to me. I don't even have to think about it anymore. I do know how to do it in Embrilliance. I'm just not as fast at it. But I know that most of you know how to merge designs anyway. So if I put something out there that's if I put something out there that's in a 4x4, you know it's going to fit in any hoop larger than that. And if you have room, you can certainly add more to it. So far, this one is coming out really, really nice. I like these designs. The star detail came out much better than I thought and hoped it would. I think maybe there are a couple of adjustments to make on the sketch flag. It looks like a couple of the bars aren't quite as wide as the other bars. I just need to take a look at it and see if I can get it to come out just a little bit better. Awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and flip the video off and trim these up, get some snaps on, and then I may do one follow-up at the end of it and just merge them together like I did the other for the bag. So I'm going to go ahead and load it up on YouTube. But seriously, though, if I need your opinions, should I put this one as a video on the main Facebook group or just put a link there and send them to YouTube? Let me know what you guys think. Thanks.